Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Presentation Hell. We are broadcasting here from Embark Studios in Tampa, Florida. I am James Ontra, your host, and today I'm sitting here with Alexander Rolinitis from Cyberjin. He is the founder of, God, I can't even describe it well enough. I'm just going to turn it over to you right off the bat, and why don't you just give us a 15-second, what is Cyberjin?
Yeah, so we're a government contracting IT-focused platform that delivers an AI talent, data analytics, product and service solution to government contractors and IT professionals.
So you're supplying the government with people?
The companies that have contracts to provide services, we help them identify the qualified candidate that they're looking for. So filling their talent pipelines and automating parts of the sourcing process, making their lives easier and driving better business outcomes.
How is this better than Indeed?
Well, we've done countless interviews, and everybody doesn't like Indeed. So there's numerous problems.
It's the company you love to hate.
The billion-dollar Indeed company is just a company made for everything. And I think when you're trying to build a solution for everything, it can get lost when you have such a special niche like security clearances involved, special requirements. The machine learning aspect of what a platform like Indeed does still today provides irrelevant recommendations. And beyond what Indeed can do, our AI is able to send a qualified candidate every day to a company for a low monthly subscription. And this relevance is a powerful key that many people really care about, not having 50 candidates or 1,000 candidates or trying to find someone, but the ability for machine learning to provide relevance is a key from what we saw with Cyberjin.
When was the moment that you recognized that relevance, or you had something in relevance that was special that you could turn into a business?
So back when I first started working for a government contractor, when you speak with somebody, you're trying to distill and figure out which of my 20, 50, 100 opportunities I have is going to be the match. So there's cognitive workload in figuring out the match, and then how do I frame my conversation then with the other person? So there's a lot of tailoring, and we've got some ideas to solve the predictive emailing component of using AI to send relevant jobs in an email to a candidate. So that's not released yet.
So your AI weeds through the bullshit.
It takes the cognitive workload away and filters relevance. And that, to a recruiter,
it's the same thing.
It's to a recruiter's dilemma on a daily basis is you do it at multiple parts of the supply chain. So when you're initial searching through candidate resumes on external platforms, you're doing it. When
do you pull in information from external platforms?
Of course. Like there's many of the typical like strong platforms out there. There's also recruiter relationships that we work with. There's database partners. There's numerous data sources out there.
When you do presentations on your company, because it's a small startup, you're the founder of it, you're bringing it to a targeted niche for recruiting people for government contracts, you use your AI to weed out the garbage so that you can give a manageable load of candidates to the person who might need one, i.e. one a day, and therefore they can find the right fit because you've weeded through them. So how do you present this regularly? Like, what do you do when you stand up and you say let's just say I got $50 million and I'm just want to put it into the next, Cinderella startup. Why you?
So what's unique about Cyberjin is we first set out to build a better platform to help our recruiting service with companies and clients. And through that, bringing on a machine learning scientist over a year ago, the investments have been made that help us perform as better recruiters. And so as we've now tailored, one of our products is the AI talent sourcing, where we're filling your pipeline with relevant candidates.
Hang on for a minute on that. What is your pool of relevant candidates at that point? Like when you say AI sourcing, you have to be sourcing 1 million resumes out there to say, God, these 18 are the best that'll suit you personally out of the whole.
Yeah, so our database is around 200,000 candidates in our database.
How do you get in that database? How does someone's resume get there? Like, where does it come from?
Right, so that comes from just our different methods of recruiting and open source intelligence tools and scraping different methods and being able to build those profiles up. And so through the collection methods we have, we're able to build up this database and say, okay, well, what's the job that you're looking for? And the challenge that any company has
You
is
represent the job or the contractor mostly. Is that true? That's more of a question than a statement.
So our platform right now is catered, the product we're speaking of is catered towards the company, helping them connect with the qualified candidate they're looking for.
Okay, so
rather than your internal recruiter going out and Boolean searching and trying to find resumes on different job boards, which are very expensive and you have limited throttle amounts, and when you spend clicks to be able to view candidates, you might have just wasted a click because the person says they've got Java or Cyber or Linux or some AWS keyword on the resume, but they haven't actually done it.
How do you read through that? That's a really good point. I mean, because a lot of people say, "Well, we got
calculating, it's parsing resumes, so using machine learning parser to pull the resume keywords out. It's calculating years of experience for those keywords from the jobs that somebody's been at,
listed,
and then providing relevant matches. So based on the job, doing keyword clustering, taking those two data formats, and then building using the different machine learning methods out there.
You don't fall for a false flag where someone puts AWS specialist and you're like, you read into the resume that there's depth there and real understanding through, ancillary jobs or positions or years of time doing it.
Well, there's keywords that have relationships with other keywords. So beyond getting through our proprietary solution, there's the ability to take keywords and map those relationships with other keywords. So a resume is a collection of words. And the more common you have similar words related to a keyword, and those are appearing in a job, you start creating potential with 200,000 resumes and thousands of jobs, the machine learning graph of relationships.
I got to tell you, all this stuff is like mind-blowing nowadays. To think that there's, hundreds of thousands of resumes that I can tap into in a minute, and I can't read a 30-page book at this point, let alone something like that. How did you fall into this? How did you stumble into this business? Is this something you've dreamed of when you were a kid, or you did some program at school, or you woke up you got a job somewhere you never thought you did, and next thing you know, here you are?
So I'm actually a college dropout and needed to figure out what I wanted to do. Traveled for almost a year. Florida International University in Miami. So I took some time off to go camping across America and figured out what hitting rock bottom was like, and decided I was never again going to struggle the way I was. And so that put me back on a better path coming back to Florida, continuing education. I did end up finishing a bachelor's degree in communication, and I got the opportunity to become an early startup employee at another special forces company that did IT systems integration.
What's special forces? That's kind of intriguing.
Yeah, so SOCOM. So we're here in Tampa.
So we've got government type.
So here in Tampa and MacDill, you've got the two big comms commands. You've got SOCOM, Special Operations Command, and you've got Central Command.
So the military complex in this Florida community is what
so here in Tampa is a really big place. So there's a company that started, and I got to learn a lot and worked as their all-star recruiter, building up and learning a lot and helping candidates try to understand what our company offered. And so through that experience, that gave me kind of some of the insights that the current model for how government contractors are finding candidates is outdated, and that there could be a better solution.
This is the classic story of I'm a competent human being. I'm interested. I want to take care of myself, and this is the job I got, and I excelled at it, and saw the opportunity and continue flying on.
Yeah, you could say that.
Because I can tell you, a lot of people don't understand this about schooling and finding your career. Many times, it's the first job you get out when you're out of school, whether it's high school, college, whatever it is what you end up doing as your career. I'll give an example. My brother was 18 years old, willing to go work on a construction site after high school. He walked onto the site, and they said, we need electricians today. And he sat down on the bench in the HR department and waited, and no one came through the door. And it was later on in the afternoon, no one came through the door. And the stonemason come through the door and said, we need someone to do stonework. That was, 40 years ago, and today he owns a kitchen granite shop that does custom granite fabrication and such like that. If the electricians walked through the door, he'd be doing electrical, and if it was a plumber, he would be doing that. It's what happens. And I don't think a lot of people know that. That's a little bit of advice for all you people out there in college. Not everything is what you dream it's going to be. It's where the opportunity is, and if you can step into it and see it and work with it, you'll do well for yourself. You seem to be doing it, I got to tell you. So keep on going. This episode of Presentation Hell is brought to you by Shuffler. shuffler is presentation management. You're doing it, I got to tell you. So keep on going, because this is the classic. I hit rock bottom, and you know what the hell you're going for at this point.
Yeah. So I mean, with the theme of presenting, you really have to present your best self, and who you are is going to go through evolutions. I would say when you finally get an opportunity, and I was very inspired to be working where I was at, the team and the competitiveness and the responsibility that was placed on me, I really tried to work with everything that I had in my capacity to, make my my employer, my leaders happy, and help them be successful and drive value, and felt very connected with the mission.
Well, you seem very confident enough to come out and step up and found your own business. That's not a lightweight thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, definitely very challenging. And not giving up, too. I'll say one of the big quandaries of like startup world is you could be a great startup founder and you could be working on something great, but your niche is just not the best place to present your skill, or the niche that you found yourself. It's just a common old adage of like, you go to a big mastermind, you can sit around a bunch of people that are just as smart as you. You look left, you look right, you're like, wow, these guys are like just like me. But the guy over, to the right of me is making 10 million a year. The guy sitting to the left of me is making 100 million a year. And so their business concepts and the way that they're threading, they've been able to pierce the veil of presenting an offer that's not only irresistible and makes sense as a lead product, but they've built other potential back-end products that then come after that lead product is converted, that increases the ROI massively for the company. So going from like 0 to 1 million, 1 million to 10 million, 10 million to 100 million, what are some of the evolution steps there?
You love the different steps of it, and you like being around the people that are at different levels at different points and understanding that and actually like riding the wave huge as opposed to crashing along the way.
Sure, you can say that. I mean, coming here to Embark, I think we all have a spark inside of us, and any entrepreneur, to want to ride your waves and grow bigger. But the question is, are you going to be able to adapt your thinking and model and have the grit to compete with the world when they present?
No one cares.
We're all competing in a marketplace of presenters. Right? Everybody has already dialed in their offer to some level, or they're trying to imagine what could they be getting instead of what they're offering, or what are some additional things that we could be offering, and is our offer backed up by a great product that delivers or a great service that delivers? Because you can present anything, but to be able to actually deliver it,
it's a big difference.
There's a big difference.
That's you can. The story I heard about that one is, you saw my product, you loved it, you bought it, I come to implement it, it's not the same, and you go, oh, you got the demo version.
And now let me introduce you to the version 1.0.
Yeah. So I think many of us are well past that, but you have to have the courage to go out the door to try that and know that you're going to continue swimming. It's like being thrown in the deep end, you learn how to swim. The bird being thrown out of the nest learns how to fly. And if you have that courage, gumption, and grit, as you said, to go through it, it's a constant stage of presentation, and knowing that you change along the way to adapt to the different changing environments, whether it's the amount of clients, the cash flow, the specific need, the new technology that might affect you. You're willing to go down that direction, and that's the core of who you are, is what I got from this call. Is that true?
Sure. There's a lot of innovations continuous. There's a great book that I remember my business partner sharing with me at the beginning when we started the company. It's called Rework.
Okay.
And this premise is you are always reworking. And I would say more so now, as at least the phase that I'm in as the CEO, trying to guide the company and having a team of people around me, it's the continuous checking in and reworking and looking at the standard operating procedure of what we're doing, or the tools that we're using, or how we're using the tools. It's so incredible.
You turn it into a craft as opposed to an art.
Well, it's the presenting of what we're doing. So it ties in with the sales pitch, or when you're working with a customer to understand what their challenges and pains, or what they dislike about something, or other products and services, and how you position what you can offer. We all make trial and error improvements, and that is just as much for presenting as it is with like operations and delivering.
Today, how do you best present Cyberjin? Present it right here, right now. Show us your best presentation right now.
Well, my best presentations involve something on the stake, like something that's staking. There's like a hero aspect that can come out of a certain person when you're doing sales, that when you really connect with your audience and you almost kind of take more of a win-win frame, working with them and trying to understand their pain points. And coming from a book called what's that book called? There's a certain like advisor book that talks about becoming that source of knowledge and being very forthright with, hey, we already know how this is done in the industry. These are all the options you've got, and we think that these ones are kind of good. These ones might be able to help you. Definitely avoid these ones. When you come from just a source of information and help people understand more of the vector space of what their business is, and when you really can speak intelligently about their business and what actually is going to drive revenue growth outcomes,
that's the solution.
There's a sense of the presenting is less about, let me show you something. Visual aids, I think, can help, but I think it comes more from like really listening to the person you're speaking with and being able to unpack in an experienced way the space and to align how your product and service really is different when it comes to it, and don't push anything on anybody too. Like, you got the right winning strategy for the right person. It's not meant for everybody, but and the value of the offer of the presenting is it makes it easy for them to say yes. And so having ways that they can trial out or no sweat guarantees, things of that nature overall can end up just presenting itself and converting when you just treat the other person like the way you'd want to be treated.
Well, excellent. Well, with that, why don't we just wrap up here and we'll go from there.
Cool.
Alexander, it's happy to have you here. I think it's excellent. Cyberjin, I hope it's a huge success. Both Cyberjin and Shuffler, my company, is here in Embark Collective in Tampa, Florida, and it's a great, fertile foundation for any startup, anyone who has the perseverance to launch a company from scratch and real dreams. The support network here is incredible. And thank you all for listening.
Yeah, highly recommended.